Welcome to the IVM Podcast Network.
Episode 19 of Cyrus Says was released on June 22nd, 2015.
Just to remind everybody that language usage and content that we provide here may be disturbing, disgusting, probably will be and should be. Words like bloody custard and words that rhyme with that may be featured. Actually will be featured. In fact, perhaps will only be featured. Just warning you.
You're listening to Cyrus Says.
Day 52, rant 109. Show is called Cyrus Says. And today's rant is a terrible one. I'm going to shoot off the shoulder of my producer, Amit Doshi, a man who lives just a few buildings away from me. No, our parents weren't inclined to let us get married, so we stay apart. But the sad story in this whole thing is that he, a Malba Hill boy who has suffered all his life with abject poverty, we suffer from the same thing. When we come down Hanging Gardens, which is this large slope where people used to be hung many years ago for right reasons, when we come down that slope, we have one signal which connects us to the rest of the city. And that signal is very often not manned. It's only on for about 10 seconds and very often it's just put off and you can't go anywhere. So basically, Bombay comes to a stop, or Mumbai rather, comes to a stop right there. Amit Doshi today, ladies and gentlemen, hold your breath, suffered so badly. On a Saturday morning at 9:30, he waited 45 minutes in traffic because there was no policeman and there was no signal. It was just shut. It was a museum exhibit. There was nothing there. So all the cars just piled up and they sat looking at each other, the rich affluent people of Malba Hill, and you think the rich run this country. The rich don't run this country. The powerful run this country. That includes the very poor. It's the middle class who suffer all the time, I tell you. Stand with me. We'll start our own AAP party. AAP party part 2. Kejriwal without the mustache. It's called Cyrus Says.
You're listening to Cyrus Says.
Yes, in Cyrus Says, we have a spectacular section and it's 2 words. Indu Mirani. Critic, Bollywood expert, a person who has learned from the mistakes of Bollywood and now watches only Korean films. And rightly so. Alright, on Cyrus Says, I have a great privilege of having on the show a lovely lady called Mirani, who is one of the... Indu Mirani, I'm just being told. Who says she's Indra Mirani? I was testing you, Indu. I was testing to see if you remember who you are. Okay, Indu Mirani is better. Indra would be a full form. We won't get into that. You'll sound like a god. And the gender will be questioned. True. And there'll be trouble. And we don't want any backlash because this is a slightly right-wing sort of nation, as you can tell. No, let's move on to the story of Indu Mirani. Let's start. You're a very well-established, famous critic. You've destroyed the careers of 43 female actresses, 13 male actors, and 2 transgender performers. Okay, one being me. Now, my point here, immediately, is how did you get into the business? I always like to get into the whole behind-the-scenes stories.
You mean how did I get into the critics business?
Yeah, because when did it all start?
Several decades ago, I have to say.
No, but let's test you. So which year was it? And there's an awkward pause. Because who the hell remembers Mangal Pandey before?
But I think it was somewhere around 78 when I started my
78, who was in power?
Shucks
Yadav? I remember him, he was great. And what was the party called? Okay, Indu, I'm just kidding around. So 78, you started. This was the height of Amitabh Bachchan frenzy, perhaps?
Absolutely.
Just post Rajesh Khanna?
Yes.
Somewhere around that time?
Yeah, somewhere around that time.
And you decided to become a film critic. And at that point, there were just 3-4 of you. And they were very powerful pens, as far as I know.
Yes.
So how did it happen?
So I had my own magazine, which was called Box Office.
You had your own magazine?
I had my own magazine.
Daddy's little girl?
Not at all.
Hubby's little girl?
Not really.
No.
Just a hard-working person. But yes, my hubby was involved with the magazine.
All right.
Yes.
And it was called Box Office.
It was called Box Office.
And
I would do the reviews. Mm-hmm. So I have suffered through every Mithun film that released.
Oh my God. With the sound on.
With the sound on.
With Bappi Lahiri performing in the background.
Absolutely.
And wearing tight leotards and dancing.
Well, luckily he wasn't dancing. It was Kalpana Iyer who was dancing.
Oh, she was quite attractive. She was Miss India.
She was.
And my friend Kunal Vijayakar once took her out for coffee.
He did?
And nothing happened. I can tell you for sure because he came to my house looking very pensive and upset.
Oh, I thought maybe he brought her to your house for coffee.
No. All I remember is that she's really attractive and she likes dogs. So these things stay in my head.
Okay.
Don't ask me why.
Okay.
Let's get back to you.
So not just Mithun. I also suffered through every single Sunil Shetty movie.
78? Oh, later
No,
on.
later.
Yeah,
In the course
mid-80s.
of my career. In the course of my
He's a
career.
lovely guy. He's a South Bombay guy. I protect my boy. But let me tell you my South Bombay actors group.
Tell me.
We have to look after them.
Yeah.
There's Akshay Khanna, not very popular, but we have to protect him.
Okay.
There's Sunil Shetty, who had his moments, and coming from a restaurant business to come into that world, you got to give him some points for that.
Okay.
And there's Jackie Shroff, who's
Yes.
from my lane. We were just like 22 minutes away. Amit Doshi, Jackie Shroff and me grew up together like Amar Akbar Anthony.
Wow.
Except when they were giving the blood, they only gave it to Jackie. So we were lying on the hospital bed. Of course, we both looked like the mother, and Jackie looks like Jackie. Well, Jackie's now reborn as, what's his name?
Tiger.
Why would he call his son Tiger? What's the dog called? Huh? Biswajit.
Robo.
That's the old joke.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. He's a good-looking guy. That I shouldn't say that on the air because I'm very straight, and not that it's wrong to not be. But quickly about Tiger, interesting personality. He's won a lot of awards. You think he's a good actor?
Well, I think he's fantastic at what he does, which is dancing in action.
And showing his abs.
And showing his abs.
But if I was 19, I had abs.
Backflips.
Backflips is huge.
It's
Marlon
huge.
Brando couldn't do a backflip, and he was a very good-looking man in his day.
Precisely.
In the early part. Stella!
Precisely.
Stella! All right, let's get back to you. 78 you started, and before we get to the Mithun Chakkar, although let's face it, Mithun wasn't a bad actor as he grew older. Okay, he was. Fine. You made your point. An awkward pause tells me everything. I won't force you. You're the critic. You see.
No. See, Mithun's a lovely guy.
Lovely guy.
Okay,
yeah.
he's a lovely guy. He dances
Why all the
very
good
well.
human beings bad actors? Sunil Shetty's a good guy.
Sunil Shetty's a good guy.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah.
Something like that. So,
yeah, why is that?
what's your view on Amir Khan? Hold that thought. No, let's get back to you again. 1978, you start box office. So, was there any pressure in those days? I think people would love to know how it works actually behind the scenes, because I do know, just like in the West, the critic plays a very important role in the sort of in the initial outcome of a film, and that initial thing I think in today's world is everything.
Yeah, but what the thing is that if you see my personality,
How does one see a personality?
in the sense that if you watch me, I have this.
Are you going to dance now? I'm a little worried because ours is an audio show. No one will see. Huh.
But I don't look the sort of person you can bribe.
Right.
I look very straight-laced.
Would they try?
No, what they would do is they would say, "जरा संभाल लेना."
Oh, so
वो
sort of,
हमारी फिल्म में थोड़ा वो एक्ट्रेस जो है उनको थोड़ा संभालो, because they knew she hadn't done well, right?
Right.
So they would say थोड़ा संभालो, and we would say थोड़ा नहीं संभाल जाएगा because she's just so bad.
And any example that we can take off now that you mentioned names already about 15 times?
Yes, we can. Actually, there was a film which had Diya Mirza and I think Madhavan.
Who was the actress? I love Madhavan. So, Diya Mirza not so good. What was the film
Not so
called?
good. I'm not too sure. It was a Vashu Bhagnani film. One of those long...
Without Jackie? When
Without.
did that happen? There were days like that?
There were.
My God.
Can you imagine?
No.
Those were innocent days.
So who? So somebody from the production house?
Well, actually, her PR person or maybe her
But
manager.
why would they do that? Because they just put a negative spin on her immediately.
Exactly.
Even if you didn't have that in your mind, now you do.
Yes, now you do. But that is the whole thing. These are managers. What do managers know?
I don't know. I hate managers.
Yep, so do I.
Yeah, really.
At all levels.
At all levels. Building managers are terrible. They don't even live in the building and they're managers. It's so wrong.
I agree.
Honestly, it's like a person in a jail warden who doesn't go to jail. I mean, how do you know what we're suffering? Not that we've been to jail, but that could happen if you watch any more Hindi films.
No,
Okay.
if you drive, you could go to jail.
Oh, we'll get into that in the next segment. But I want to just start again. So when you began, was Filmfare already around? What was the big magazine?
Oh, yes, Filmfare was already around. In fact, I'd already worked at 10 years at Filmfare.
Oh.
Before I started.
So you had the equity of one of the big journalists from Filmfare
Yes.
starting your own...
Yes.
So she didn't tell us that, ladies and gentlemen. She was already working as a film journalist. I was trying to get to the early days, meaning that day.
Oh, that day. So
When you
yes.
finished college, or why did you get into this whole
Journalism?
thing?
I always wanted to write. When I was a 600, I knew I wanted to be a journalist.
And you were in the 600 for how many years? I'm just kidding.
Okay.
That happened to me, Indu. That happened to me, not you. So you got into journalism, but not into investigative, hardcore journalism. Why film journalism?
No. I wanted to do sports journalism.
What are you saying?
Yes.
And now our film industry is a sport.
It
You
is.
know, there's the whole couch games, and then there's the I didn't say that games, then that I've dated her 3 times games.
What about the spoil sport games?
The spoil sport games, yes,
sport
yes.
games.
The upset games. I won't talk to him forever games.
Exactly.
I didn't have the abortion games. You're lying. I mean, that goes on. And I'm talking about males here. Right.
But I was at 28 Times of India, and they had this peculiar policy that they send you to all the departments, and if you do well in
Right.
one, they put you there permanently.
Right, I remember this. So you do an all-round thing.
Yes.
You go everywhere.
You go
And for
everywhere.
some reason, you're stuck in the film thing, not by choice.
Not by choice, though. Unfortunately, I did well over there.
was
I did
there?
some
Who was
interviews.
there? Who was like
at
the
that
big
time?
gun?
Rusi Karanja had just left.
Rusi Karanja.
I had just left.
It's a good
Sorry,
friend of
not
mine.
Rusi. No, his brother. I forget his name.
Rusi's brother, yeah. His name will
brother.
come to us in the course of a quick Google moment. But that will happen later in the program. Not that we don't remember names. Powers?
We're not
I'll
old.
keep saying
not
Sam. No, Sam Manekshaw was our field marshal. Shut up, bro. You don't know anything about the Parsis or what? What is this nonsense? Let me think for a second. There are about 15 Parsi names. I'll give you all of them. Let's start from the king. Cyrus, Darius, Xerxes, Artaxerxes, Behram, Sorab, Firdos, Firoz. We've got about 45 minutes to go on the show. I'll just keep talking to him.
No, but he had left, so we don't even need his name.
He had left. And so who did you deal with?
So Bikram Singh, who was the critic and a very, very stern critic.
This is the guy with the B, not V. This is a Bikram, like in biscuit. Okay.
Yes.
All right.
So he was the editor.
Those were good days when everything was straight laced and nobody could tell you what to do.
Yes. And you know what the best part was? Mm-hmm. There were no PRs and there were no managers. There were actors just had one secretary.
Yeah.
You could get in touch with him. There were no mobile phones, so you called everybody on the landline.
And the secretary had the personality of your average watchman. Am I right?
Yes, absolutely.
Hello, Rinku speaking. Bada saab nahi hai. Baad mein phone karo. There's not much more.
Nahi, saab to always naha rahe the.
They had long baths.
Baths.
There were dirty, unhygienic times in India.
Yes.
Hindu, don't be rude.
No, but several of them in the day. Because if you call at 9 and then you call at 9:30 and you call at 10:30 and 11:30, saab was still nahing.
What you're saying is 11 top male actors destroy the water industry for India forever.
Totally.
Indus Valley civilization ruined completely. No rivers are functioning, all because of a few of these males. But how shameless.
Do you think that's the problem in LA too? You know, LA has actors and LA has a drought.
You're right. And you're right. And they have earthquakes. I wonder if that's also connected.
Exactly.
But do you think they would give the same excuses back in Hollywood? I have no idea.
Actually, I have no idea. Never tried to get in touch with them.
But they've always had PR agents and good cop, bad cop going.
Yeah.
You can't get through to them. It's much more difficult.
No, but here they just had that one secretary.
So if you called Amitabh Bachchan, he'd pick up the phone?
Yes, of course.
And then
Amitabh Bachchan would
put on a voice and pretend to be Jaya? What would happen?
No, he would actually, if he called you, say, to invite for you for the Holi that they used to have.
Oh, they would invite the journalists?
Yes, they would. And they would call up and say, hi, this is Amitabh Bachchan. And you would say, yeah, I know. 1, I have your number fed in. 2, you're sounding like Amitabh Bachchan.
Yeah, well, that's a lot of impressionists who would do that.
Exactly.
I could call you up,
No, you can't. Nobody can.
Let me try again.
No. So you would call up and then you would say, will you come for the Holi celebration? So, so those were good days.
So you'd go?
Of course.
Okay, so let's take a quick break and when we come back, we'll talk about what colour was put on your face and by whom and what you were wearing and what Amitabh Bachchan was wearing and who was that male actor who was coming on to you and was it A.K. Hangal? No, it wasn't. When we come back. Yes, with Indu Mirani here. I call her IM. She calls me PM. Of course, doesn't make me the leader of the country. There is only one leader. Naam to bhul gaya, but there is one leader. We'll talk quickly about that sports journalism thing, which I sort of forgot to talk about because you were initially inclined towards sports and sports journalism. What happened there? Something went wrong?
When they put me in film fair, I wanted to do sports journalism. So I told them that I want to sports. So let me go. And I'd done really well also in the sports department.
Right.
But, now this is 35 plus years ago. So in those days, there was a strange bias. They said girls. I was a girl at that time.
Okay, fair enough. I was a girl at that time. I'm with you. Huh.
So they said girls, cannot work late. So we cannot...
because of the fear factor.
Yes, I think in their heads.
Somebody would molest you.
In their heads.
Yeah.
Because
they did it themselves. Why? There must be... What is a guilty conscience here? Huh?
So, and they said girls can't do night duty because, if you had covered a match and you came back and you had to write it, obviously that was night duty, right?
Okay.
So one was that. And second, they said, girls...
But film stars only did night duty. So
not film. Sports.
Yeah, no, but I'm saying if you went to films, it would be only night duty as well, from what I gather in the glorious 80s.
Yeah, but they're not with us.
Not with you.
Not with
we'll
me.
find that out a little later. We can just find out the truth behind the entire visage. She went to Holi parties. You could pick up the phone and call them. They were on first name basis with you.
Yeah.
So obviously there's more to Indu than we know. Who was with who did what, whose child is whose. All this and more will be revealed with 1.5 lakh rupees, which is the minimum that we have to
But let me
give
tell you
on
one
this.
thing more about the sports journalism thing. Also, they said that girls get married and have kids and then they leave, which I think was terribly unfair. Because you can't judge me on what I might or might not do like 2 years down the line or 5 years down the line or something.
But why don't the men get married and have kids and leave?
Yes, but the men don't leave evidently. They stay on.
I would love to leave. I try to leave everywhere. Without kids. Sometimes with kids. Sometimes with somebody else's kids. But I'm all into the leaving thing. I got the leaving gene. I could leave anywhere. I could leave right now and you could do the show on your own. Are you inclined to?
No.
Okay.
No.
So let's now talk about the Holi party. We set it up before the break. So you guys, it was a smaller industry. It was a small family.
Yeah.
And obviously people were friends, right?
Yes, everybody was friends.
Okay, so there are two parts here. One is, of course, that you're friends. But two is sooner or later you write something bad about them because, they're doing so many films.
Yeah.
Then what happens? Was it a problem?
Then they sort of sulk with you for a little while.
Yeah.
And they don't talk to you and they don't call you for their parties. And then when they realize that you are actually wiser than what they thought and the films that you criticized in your review have done badly, and which you've spoken about badly, then they sort of like very shamefaced come to you and say, you were right about that. And then you become friends again. So there was this constant cycle happening with everybody.
Okay, so we were sulking, but there was no real problems. There was no fighting areas which could not
Not
be...
with me, no. Nobody beat me up or any such thing.
Yeah, I remember a couple of stories about journalists being attacked physically.
Yes, but it didn't
was
happen.
Was it Dharmendra? I can't remember.
Dharmendra did it once. Anupam Kher did it with the journalist too. And that happened in front of me, actually.
Really? But why did Anupam Kher beat up the journalist?
Because I think the journalist had...
Stepped on his foot. No, must be more to it. Yeah.
He had alluded to the fact that Anupam was having an affair with somebody.
Which was not true. Indu, let
Who
me
knows?
see your
I don't
face.
know.
Checking Indu's face for detailing. Can't show the listener what I'm seeing. Lots more than meets the eye. Slow motion of Indu's smile. It's humongous. It's huge. So Anupam Kher was not having an affair. Very clearly. We leave it at that, right?
I will leave it at that.
It's their personal life.
Exactly.
Tomorrow if I'm having an affair, you want to talk about it, that'll be fine.
Yes.
Because I'm dying to have an affair. Just can't. I'm going to call Anupam and ask him what to do. Maybe there's a solution. Maybe there's a class. He's got an acting class. Do you have an affair section?
No.
Affair section? No affair section.
Why don't you ask Salman Khan?
Poor guy. He's got to put his affairs in order first. Let's leave him alone till everything works out. Yeah. No. I'm sure there are many. No, I heard that they were all Lotharios. Is it true?
All?
Lotharios?
Of course, everyone is. Everyone is. Each and everyone.
Almost without exception?
Almost without exception.
Wow, that's fantastic.
I mean, it's like this. If they are not, then it's just because they can't get a girl.
This is a normal Indian man.
Yes.
This is the only difference is they have makeup on their face and they're famous. Now you're clearing the air for all of us. So all men suck, basically. There's no difference.
No difference at all.
Oh, God, what a terrible breed. Who invented us? I bet God was a woman. And
I'm sure, of course.
Got upset and, wanted to invent the bad guy. That was the man.
Yeah.
It's
You know the good cop, bad cop thing?
Yes.
So the good cop is we.
Yeah, the
bad
women.
cop is you guys.
Right.
Yeah.
And the police, the actual cops, well, they're just like dirty, right?
Yeah, exactly.
According to Amit Doshi.
Yeah.
He's really upset. Because how can you leave a traffic light unmanned? I don't get that. Oh, the other day on Sunday, you won't believe this, Indu, in South Bombay Marine Drive, there was a rickshaw, a guy in uniform with a proper rickshaw straight from the suburbs, right in the middle of the road. So I asked him in the signal, what are you doing here? He said, hey, parivar ke saath aa gaya, dikhayenge inko, ye wo. And he's pointing and showing the Darya of Marine Drive. And I was like, what is he doing? Oh, do they not understand the law? You're not supposed to bring it in. No, but the family has come. I have to show them South Bombay. So he came.
But did nobody stop
There
him
was
all
no
the way?
cop. The cops have retired. There are 3 cops left in India. 2 of them are in Calcutta. When Mamta ji comes back, they sort of welcome her and that's it. And 1 is in Delhi. And you know what Delhi cops are
But
like.
you know how far Marine Drive is from Bandra? Bandra's the limit.
I don't know how he managed.
All the way.
All those people, nothing.
There was nothing.
Nothing. Nobody cares.
It was Sunday.
It was Sunday, but still, come on, where? I mean, a little bit of, let's face it, a little bit of rain, the cops disappear.
Yeah.
Everything is unmanned, you break anything you want
exactly.
to. When it's really hot, you know at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, you can break anything you want. There's no one in sight.
No one in sight.
They're hiding in the shade somewhere.
Wherever there's a jam, you know what's always not there?
What?
A cop.
Yeah, you go. This is a cop baiting show. We're talking films and we went to cops. Exactly. Let's talk about Police Story, Jackie Chan's greatest work. No, not your film. All right, let's get back to Holi parties. You didn't complete that. I just want to understand this. So in those days, everybody came like a family and there was no hard feelings about critics and all that.
No, not at all.
And you used to mingle just like the film stars.
Oh, yes, absolutely. And Amitabh's parties were really great.
Yeah.
Of course, as soon as you came, you were doused with colour.
Did he give you 3 options? Aapke paas 3 rang hai. Pila. Oh, God, that's terrible. It's not even funny. That's mean. Go on.
Well, he gave you lots of options where food was concerned.
Really?
There was very good
and
food.
all the big guns would come for this party.
Everybody would make an appearance.
What if you weren't invited? Was that like a slap in the face?
I think it was. It was like, when Aishwarya and Abhishek got married.
Right.
There was a lot of bad blood with the people who weren't invited.
Who was not invited? Name names.
Shatrughan Sinha.
Why?
He didn't want to invite him.
What a hypocrite. I thought that film was about the male bonding forever.
But it's your personal thing. You don't have to invite everybody.
Yeah,
Why do you have to invite
Plus, there's also a money limit.
Of course.
You have to, there's only so many people who will fit.
Yeah, that's
at the end
it
of the
too.
day.
Yeah.
So I didn't know this. I'm not very good with Bollywood. I will tell you honestly.
Okay, I don't know. I'll educate you completely.
No, in terms of but the 80s stories, I'm a little bit more clued into because I was a big Amitabh Bachchan fan growing up. And I actually, wore a cross for about 3 weeks after Amar Akbar Anthony. And, I used to talk like him for about 25 minutes.
Wow.
Then I saw Marlon Brando in Streetcar Named Desire, and then I went somewhere else.
Then you went somewhere else.
Then Al Pacino in Scarface, and say hello to my little friend. And now, I watched a lot of porn, so I don't want to even tell you the dialogues. Hello, I'm the plumber. And that's my Swedish accent.
Yes.
Yeah. Let's get back to your life. So you were there, everybody was fun. You don't, incidents, 35 years is a long time.
It is.
And these are difficult questions, so just in a few minutes, but what stands out? Any changes in the industry, any incidents that you remember? If we had to just hit your memory and just, go for broke, book, what comes out?
I think what would stand out the most was that it was really like a family, and you could be on a one-to-one term with the actor. So, like, if you need an interview, because I was a journalist, right? You just had to call him up at home, and he'd fix it, and it would stay fixed. There were no mobile phones. You couldn't cancel the last one. There was no WhatsApp. There was no.
That one-to-one thing is a huge thing. You know,
it's a huge
it's a proper relationship.
Exactly. But today, what happens? Even if you have a one-to-one relationship with an actor, and you call him, he will put you onto his manager.
Correct. Good
and
callback.
of course, the manager will never find time.
Oh, no, or they'll tell you yes and just keep buying time.
Exactly.
Which I think is what they're very good at doing.
Yes, so that's what the
I tried to do
managers
that with my marriage, you know, until finally my wife tied me to a chair and got married behind my back. It was very sad. These things happen. Yeah.
Yes. So that has changed tremendously. Is that you can no longer have a one-to-one relationship.
Is it too competitive? Is it too aggressive in a way?
It is. But also the media has grown. You know, when in the 80s, there were just a few magazines. And there was, of course, obviously nothing. Yes, there was no internet.
Internet is where all the English-speaking people pick on the film people.
Exactly.
You know, that's the whole business is totally different.
Yeah.
People like me sit there and make fun of Hindi films. It's wrong. Wrong! Hindi films can be very good.
They can.
Without the sound.
You make fun of Hindi films?
I don't make fun. There are lots of Hindi films I like, by the way. Okay. And I'm not being patronizing.
Okay.
A lot means 4 or 5, but still, there are quite a few. But not so many modern films I don't get,
Name them.
Like this Anurag Kashyap film, I saw half of it and I didn't quite understand. I like the promos better.
Yes, nobody like that.
Well, I thought it had moments. I see the whole Mumbai, it's a local thing now. The whole idea of this Mumbai setting and 60s and what my parents used to tell us, these Anglo-Indian singers, the bars, blue, all that was very interesting for me from one point of view, culturally or subculturally.
Yeah.
And then I felt they went all over the place. It was like Pulp Fiction meets a Scandinavian movie maker to Fellini in the background, to some Bengali filmmaker, art filmmaker. It just became a mismatch. Sometimes that happens.
You know Fellini, huh?
I just know names.
Okay.
I know a little bit here. I just draw. I'm from advertising. You know what advertising is all about? You know, let me tell you. I've cracked the whole code. The advertising people are the people who know nothing actually, but a little bit about everything.
Okay.
So they can have a conversation about anything because they have to keep clued in like that. But if you go deep, then boom, they have no idea. So, Tenzing Norgay climb Mount Everest. It is a mountain, and that's about it. Then, they have to move to the next topic.
But Mount Everest is now 3 inches shorter.
Right. I'm a male, you say 3 inches shorter, I get panicky. Stop it. I can't afford 3. I can afford 2. I cannot afford 3. For the record, Indu, please stop this. This is how you make enemies. Okay? These kind of criticisms come back to haunt you. This is personal. How dare you? You know how lonely I am? My wife's in America 28 days. I was even lonelier while she was here, but that's not the story. Let's get back to...
the holy parties.
Yes. No, let's go a little ahead now.
Okay.
See, I was just looking at this whole IIFA. By the way, do people watch IIFA? I'm not quite sure.
They watch it when it comes on TV because not everybody goes there.
Well,
right?
I think there's just too many. There's a glut of filmy
too many.
You know, it's like advertising. My mind just can't tell which one is what, who won what.
True.
And the same 11 people are shot and the same reactions are shot.
Exactly.
Sometimes I feel the same clothes are worn because they've shot them for the last 10 years in the same way.
Absolutely. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if they take little bits and pieces from other shows.
Yeah.
And just endorse for when they need the expression.
If Amitabh Bachchan's name is mentioned, why do they cut to Rekha? It's just it's the same 4 points that they have to do.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And Rekha may have been shot earlier. She may not actually be reacting to Amitabh Bachchan's name.
No, and if you go on edit, you can find some awkward looks and all that. It's really funny the way they do it.
Exactly.
Very manipulative.
Yeah.
But no, I'm talking about these 2 young boys, Ranveer something or the other, and the other guy's name I forget now.
Arjun Kapoor and Ranveer Singh. Yeah.
And the young bucks who were caught in that AIB controversy, if you want to call it that.
Yeah.
I would just call it a great show filled with abuse, which I wouldn't watch. But Amir Khan apparently got very angry.
Yes.
And this
Amir Khan can be very disapproving sometimes.
Like a teacher.
Yeah,
that Tara Zameen Par has changed his life completely.
Yeah, for some reason he thinks he needs to remind us all about our moral duty.
Shield grew taller than him by the end of the film, and that upset him. And then these things have repercussions.
They do.
Yeah.
When you said about the height part. And
Stop it. Don't be personal. You already took inches from me, you want inches from him now? That guy is a beautiful man. I've touched him. I've clenched his back. But I haven't really. I tapped him once and he pushed me. But let's get back to... they wouldn't do that in the 80s. No one would take on Amitabh Bachchan or Dharmender and, sort of make sarcastic comments.
No.
But here in IIFA, if I can quote, they did this whole gag about, that we did this show we are ashamed of, which we shouldn't have done, and we'll never make fun of the elderly artists again, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And then they turned it into one of their films.
Yes.
Wouldn't they? Or one of these films that didn't do well.
Yeah.
So it's a joke, but to actually take on Amir Khan and sort of make fun and point at his preacher-like ways, that wouldn't have happened.
But do you know they actually took Amir's permission before they cracked this joke?
Really?
Yes.
Did they touch his feet also? Has that stopped?
I sort of think Ranveer and Arjun wouldn't touch anybody's feet.
Oh, with their own feet, maybe.
Today's boys.
Yeah. Well, with their own feet they could, something like that.
Yes. Depends on proximity.
So is there hypocrisy going on still, is what you're saying? Why did they have to take their permission and then make the comment? Now it's losing its edge for me.
Because he's this big hero and he likes to believe that he leads And these are like young guns.
So they can't. There's still a mafia running the industry, and you can't take on the big
You can't. It's a very insular sort of an industry.
And you can't actually challenge the Khans and
No, you can't.
Akshay Kumars and
No,
etc.
you're in trouble if you do that.
Oh, how sad.
Yes.
So that's the government, that's the film industry, that's the BCCI. What's left in India?
No, I'm afraid nothing.
I'm now liking the police. Amit, stop picking on the police. They're not so bad. We'll take a break and then come back. Police not so bad. Pretty democratic institution.
Absolutely.
You get suspended, okay, you get transferred, but nothing more really happens.
And they stop traffic signals all over the place by the way.
Yeah, it's not just Mumbai.
Not just there.
I've been to Chhattisgarh. There is no traffic signals in two parts.
Yeah, true.
With lots of traffic, let me tell you. Yes, back on Cyrus Says with Indu Mirani, who of course has so much experience and so much knowledge when it comes to the film industry. Some will say what a waste of time, but no, she does have. And, we're all stargazers in some form, no matter what people say in India. They elite to look down on the film industry. All want to be part of it. If you're invited, you go rushing to the party or the opening, whatever, Maharat. But let's take names and see what comes to your head, because I don't want to, force any memories. Let's look at the eccentric ones. Naseeruddin Shah.
Oh my God, Naseeruddin Shah one day at a party screamed at me.
For no reason, he was rehearsing. No, I don't know. I'm asking.
No, I don't know. He was angry with some other journalist.
Right.
And I went to him, saying that I want to do so-and-so story. And this was a long time back.
Right.
So can I meet you? And he just took off and said, you journalist, I don't know why you come to me for interviews. You go and write exactly what you want. Da, 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 da. And he sort of left. And
he didn't take a name.
He didn't take the name, but he screamed at me. I had not done anything.
Who was the journalist? Someone you knew?
No, I'm not. I don't know. Maybe it happened.
So what did you say back to Naseeruddin Shah?
Nothing. I just looked at him and said, but I'm only asking for an interview. I was really young at that time. For one of my beginning days.
Right.
Early 80s.
Was he only doing parallel cinema then, or had he done Jalwa and all those other films?
You know what? He was denying parallel cinema, which he had done all of it.
Right.
But then he got into commercial cinema.
Yeah.
And he seemed very unhappy with commercial cinema, but he was also denying the parallel cinema that he was doing. So he was, I think, a bit mixed up in his head.
Yeah. He was the actual angry young man.
He was. he was always angry.
He was the real angry young man.
Yeah.
He still is.
He still is.
Yeah.
So I think he had this paradox in his head.
I have a super story which his daughter told a friend of mine.
Tell me.
Which is he bought a brand new, lovely 4x4. He likes all these big Jeeps and all that.
Right.
After that fabulous film which he did with Sean Connery.
Something
League of Undistinguished Men Without Shoes or something.
League, yeah.
Gentlemen walking on water naked. So that's the title. And basically, so after doing that film, made a lot of money apparently, bought himself this lovely 4x4. And he was driving a car, and as you know, people touch you all the time.
All the time.
So a scooter, there was a young man on a scooter who just, bumped the mirror or touched something. So he chased him down in true Nasir style, real angry young man style, stopped on the 16th road signal or whatever, came out and smacked him a couple of times.
He did?
Yeah, then he went back into the car, and this guy comes and says, Nasir bhai, autograph please.
Oh my God.
I thought that must have been fun. What a story is that?
Story,
And it just sounds so true. Because the Indian fan
true.
is like that. Wow, I got slapped by Nasir. Bhai, ye cheek pe aa gaya.
He probably won't wash his face now
No.
10 days.
He wanted one more. He was like, hit me again, I love you, Nasir.
No, but that's the Gandhian philosophy.
Oh, is it?
That if you are smacked on one cheek, you turn the other.
Well, there'll be other people to claim claim that before Gandhi. I won't get into it. I don't want any religious rants. But let's get back. So Nasir, but at the end of the day, rather, you're making me stumble. Can you believe Indu's power? At the end of the day, still perhaps one of our better actors.
Oh yes, definitely.
And not given his due. Did you think
No. I think he's been given his due. I think absolutely given his due.
But his book didn't kind of reveal everything, no? He held back a little bit.
It never does. They always say that they will.
Why don't they do that?
They don't.
Completely.
Because
you tell it.
Some of them are still living. So most of them are married.
Unwritten code of I can't tell everything.
I can't tell everything. And how can I say about all the women that I slept with?
But you have to.
But that is what the fun is.
Then the women can sue you. That's when we come into it.
Yeah. That's the fun of these things. But people don't.
Okay, let's move from Nasir. Let's find other people to talk about. Let's look at...
should I tell you, do you know Sanjeev Kumar?
Of course. I mean, not personally. I don't call him. I mean, if I call him up, he doesn't have arms. He can't pick the phone up. I mean, no, that's not bad. That's terrible. So Sanjeev Kumar, of course, again, when I was in the 80s growing up, one of the big names.
Was a big name.
Gujarati theatre first and then
exactly.
films. Yeah.
But he was also like a real gentleman, but very forgetful, hated to give interviews.
Right.
So one day he called me to Chandivali at 8 o'clock at night.
Chandivali? Even today you should not go to Chandivali at 8 o'clock at night.
Exactly. Yeah. And he came at 10.
He came at 10, yes.
Nothing
has changed.
Yes. Nothing has changed. And so he tells me, what are you doing here? And I said, because you called me for the interview.
Was he drinking?
He must have been.
Huh.
But he gave his shots by 12. But the nicest part was, one, he did the interview.
Yeah.
And then he had to go to a party at Juhu. So he said, come, I'll drop you. So I said, okay, drop me at Juhu. I'll take a rickshaw. I think in those days we still had rickshaws.
Right.
So he took me to there. And then he said, no, I'll drop you home. So he came home.
1 minute. That sounds a little scary.
I was a bit wary of that.
You were a young girl then.
Yes, I was.
And he was a Thakur in about 5 films before
But
that.
he didn't have hands as a Thakur.
Right, but you don't only... how do I break this to you? It's not really the hands.
It's not?
No, apparently not. I wouldn't know. I'm still a virgin.
You're
told.
the porn watcher.
The hands you need for escaping later. Yeah, I'm the porn watcher. Yeah, sorry. So Sanjeev Kumar is about to drop you home. You're a little worried. You're a young girl.
Yes.
And?
So I get off at my gate and he gets off too.
Why?
And then precisely what I asked him.
Are you kidding me?
Yes.
That's not right.
I'm
dropping you home. I'm not coming home. What the hell is
yes,
that?
Exactly.
Please understand what you're saying. Yeah.
No, but then he came into the building and then he came...
Why?
Till the second floor and waited till I opened my door. He was being a gentleman.
Oh, he was being a gentleman.
He was being a gentleman.
But you must have had your heart in the mouth.
So that's what he said, that when I take a young girl home, I drop her home.
But actually, he was just being a gentleman.
No, he was.
Oh, that's pretty nice.
I mean, if there was a subtext,
these are nice stories. Nobody tells these stories.
Nobody tells these stories.
Nobody tells stories about how they, vomited all over the actresses. They drank too much.
And how they're leching
at the mother-in-law.
But he was a nice guy. And I have a similar story with Amitabh Bachchan, who was also a nice guy, who also came to drop me to my hotel door.
My God, you had drivers called Amitabh Bachchan and Sanjeev Kumar. You're really rich. I wish I could afford those guys. My guy is called Prakash. And he's not even famous. And he can't even find anywhere. Outside Malbahel. Not that we can move because they shut the lights and we can't go anywhere.
And you can't go anywhere.
Yeah, we're just stuck there.
Imagine. We're sort of stuck in traffic today, aren't we?
Yeah, we are. We're stuck. It's a metaphor for our lives.
Exactly.
Well, going nowhere, waiting for Godot. All right, let's move on. Amitabh Bachchan, story, please. Go.
So the Amitabh Bachchan story is very similar. Is that we were at this party at his, in a place in Calcutta at a hotel. And at about 4 o'clock. So he's an insomniac.
4 o'clock? Indu, what are you doing awake at 4 o'clock?
Because the party started at 2 o'clock.
You genuinely got me. That is fantastic. Who starts a party at 2 o'clock?
Well,
what a life. And we are a poor country. I mean, this sounds like the most capitalist country in the world. We start partying at 2 in the morning. We don't stop till 12. What is this? Mardi Gras. All right, go on.
Anyway, at 4 o'clock, I was sleepy, said I need to go to my room. And so he got up and I presumed he was coming to leave me to the door. No, he didn't need to. He was the host. And then he came to the lift and I said, I think you can go back now. We are in a well-fortified hotel. Right. Because if you have Amitabh Bachchan in the same hotel, there's going to be a lot of security, right?
Correct.
So, but no, he insisted on coming in the lift, coming once again to the door, waiting till I opened the door.
But it was not a Tarun Tejpal moment.
No, it was not. It was not at all.
Not that guy is guilty. We don't know the truth. Let the truth come out. Yeah.
Yes. That's sub judice.
No, I said it's sub judice. I'm all for women's rights and all that. I have a young daughter, but I think we should, the media is hanging people too quickly. Back to Amitabh.
Yes. And so that was that, and it was quite heartening. Oh, but I have another lovely Amitabh story for you.
But you didn't complete this, because the point when he enters the lift with you is when the music goes, and then we expect, that terrible lighting they used to have in the 80s, where it would go off on like a disco light. You don't worry about that. Don't worry about the mic. Okay. Mic is from the 80s. It'll stand. So he dropped you.
So then again, he came right till the room. Waited till I opened the door.
Come on, now tell me honestly.
He did not come
weren't you worried
room.
when he came right to the room?
No, not with Amitabh Bachchan at all.
No? And he's got that way he switches into this upmarket sort of thing very quickly.
Exactly.
He's a real actor.
He's a very graceful person.
Yeah, he is.
Graceful and dignified.
He handles... I've enjoyed my interviews with him, 5 or 6 of them, and they've always been fun, I must say. He knows how to keep people at ease.
He does, and he stands up when you enter the room.
Not for me.
Not for you.
No. Nobody stands up when I enter the room. They leave sometimes, but they don't stand up. Yeah.
So he stands up when you enter the room, and he always comes and leaves you to the gate, which brings me to the next story.
Tell me.
That we were at his bungalow. Pratiksha?
Oh, God, you were inside Pratiksha. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are too young, please don't listen to this part of the program because we don't know what happened here. But she was in Pratiksha. She was a young girl. The lighting was bad. The bijli had gone. And Amitabh Bachchan entered the room, which gives us pause for music. And?
Actually, we were leaving the room. And so he just asked me, how are you going? And I said, I'll take a rickshaw and go. And his gate opened.
Oh God, there's no metaphor there.
No, there's no metaphor there at all. Oof. And there was a rickshaw passing by and he said, rickshaw, in that Amitabh Bachchan voice.
And Mithun Chakraborty stopped. I'm kidding. Go on.
And the rickshaw stopped, and the rickshawala thought that Amitabh Bachchan wanted the rickshaw.
Wow.
Can you believe this?
Yeah.
And very disappointed when it was me who got in.
But didn't Amitabh come out and say hello to him?
He came till there and he patted him on the back and said, मेरे दोस्त को अच्छी तरह से घर ले जाना.
अच्छी तरह से घर ले जाना का मतलब क्या है, madam? My Hindi is not that good, but it's also not that bad. This is not right. What was the guy from UP, the rickshaw wala? They've got a little thing going there.
License
Wink,
plate.
nudge, nudge, bhai. Paisa nahi dunga. I'll give you something else. And off goes the passenger. We don't know what happened. 35 years later, you woke up from your coma and here you are. Okay, Amitabh Bachchan, nice guy. Naseeruddin Shah, nice guy, but nuts. Who else did we talk about? Let's move on. Actresses. What about actresses? What was Zeenat Aman like? I loved her. In a manner of speaking.
Actually, when I think of it, I only interviewed her on sets, which means I just met her. She was very stylish. Very stylish. Spoke very well. Spoke, what we call convent English.
Yeah.
So she spoke convent English.
Yeah.
And she was nice, but I didn't really interview her too many times.
So there's no female heroines that you... Well, females are heroines. I don't know why I say that. Oh, this is not like a dog breeding program. Male Rottweiler, female Rottweiler, yeah. Not that she's a Rottweiler, she's a lovely looking girl. And I love Rottweilers. That's another story. Destroying dogs and women, my two favorite things. I wish they were one sometimes. They are. It's called, what? Rhymes with rich.
Yes.
Back to Parveen Babi. Very pretty.
Oh, really yes. Very pretty, slightly neurotic.
Yeah. Very sad story though.
Very sad.
I mean, at one point, such a pretty girl, the world at her feet, everybody wants to be with her, men lust after her, women want to be her, and then, just goes all out of whack.
But then, the problem is in this film industry, men tend to use the women.
Yeah, but you can't just blame the men. I agree that they are...
No. We can't just blame them because if you're a little not grounded...
Yeah.
If you're not completely grounded...
This happens in our industry podcast as well, okay? I've been used and abused by so many women on this set, you have no idea. Many of them, I don't want to take names, really. Honestly.
No, tell me names.
Well, former Miss India Madhu Sapre, former Miss India Priyanka Chopra, former Miss India, Aishwarya was nice, she tipped me, but the rest have been really rude,
Yeah.
And the younger ones call me uncle, which is worse than molesting.
Can I apologize for them all?
No, don't worry. I'll go back to dogs.
Okay.
They still like me, still wag their tail, those that have tails. Speaking of tails, so Parveen Babi, Hema Malini?
Oh, Hema Malini is the funnest person to interview.
Really?
Yes, because she's herself. So she'll talk to you in her Tamil accent without caring a damn. She doesn't put on any pretense
I love
at
people
all.
like that.
I love it too.
I just
and
love
she'll
people
come in
who
her
can be
rubber
themselves.
slippers and she'll go flap with her slippers.
Oh, obviously with clothes, yeah.
With clothes, even with the sari.
Yeah.
And her slippers will go flap. Flip-flops?
Yeah.
How they, and she doesn't care. But I have to tell you this very interesting incident. So she was talking a lot about Gulzar.
Right.
And Gulzar is, has a sort of like aura that all women love.
Was that true? I know a building called Gulzar and it was grey and blue, but that's not quite the same thing. You're talking about Gulzar the lyricist.
Gulzar the lyricist.
Who was Javed Akhtar's partner.
No, that was Salim.
Oh, sorry. Salim's... Gulzar was whose partner?
Nobody's.
He's alone? I want to hug him. I'm sorry. Go on. So Gulzar?
So she was talking about Gulzar and and then at one point she says, that Dharamji will tell me, what is this? You're always talking about Gulzar. What is this Gulzar? So exactly in these tones.
Huh.
You know what I mean? That she was so herself. She didn't give a damn. She was not putting on a pretense for anybody. She was not being somebody else ever. And that is the most charming thing from an actor.
I think not just in acting, but you meet people who are themselves, which is so rare. It's great fun.
Yeah.
That's why I don't know why Amit Doshi, my producer, doesn't like police. Because they're just being themselves. They wear the same clothes all the time. Think about it. Yeah. But what about anybody who was not nice? In 35 years, there must be some people who irritated you a little bit, behaved a little funny.
Of course.
And, don't tell us the worst stories if you feel uncomfortable. Tell us something.
I'm trying to remember.
A younger generation was more brash?
No, actually, the younger generation treat me with respect because they think I'm really old.
I get the same thing, don't worry. And I'm really not that old.
So of course they don't call me auntie because they can't.
They call me auntie. You don't understand. This whole generation is crazy, disgusting. But who were the bad boys then? I'm trying to remember. Vinod Khanna?
Vinod Khanna is the only actor with whom I couldn't complete an interview.
Why?
Because we just ran out of things to talk about.
Oh, okay. Why don't you just drink then?
We then went to the party that we were supposed to attend and drank.
But
separately.
As in he wouldn't like to talk?
Yeah, he was a bit reticent and he would give monosyllabic answers.
Oh, that's like the early Miss India days. I used to have that when we used to compare shows. Whatever you ask them, like, tell us what you want to do with your life, and it'll be like, no. Yeah.
Yeah, so we didn't gel. We never gelled.
How was Vinod Mehra? I remember him also in the 80s.
Oh, Vinod Mehra was nice, except that he kept marrying the wrong people all the time.
Yeah, well...
So some people do that.
Well, apparently that happens, that goes around.
Okay, I'll tell you a story about Rajesh Khanna, which was really, really not good.
Oh, God.
So this is when I was pregnant.
Huh?
My son is
with
now...
Rajesh Khanna? No. That's not the story. Sorry, go on.
Yes. Okay. So I was pregnant and I had to go and do this interview with him. So I'm called to a particular studio where he's shooting. And he keeps me waiting, standing, and I'm pregnant.
They don't offer you a chair?
No, nobody offered me a chair. Nobody offered me a glass of water. For like some 2 hours.
Yeah.
And 2 hours later when he comes out, he looks at me and says, "Oh, you're pregnant. You should be sitting. You shouldn't be standing for so long." But I'm not in the mood to do the interview today, so come back tomorrow. Now, this is at some vague, out-of-the-way place that I've gone, right? And I've been standing for 2 hours in the sun. I'm ready to collapse in any case. So I go home and I come back again the next day. And again the next day, he keeps me waiting for 2 hours, standing, no water, no chair, no nothing. And this time, of course, doesn't even say, oh, you're pregnant, because now he knows I'm pregnant.
He thinks
right?
now you've given birth in the 24 hours.
Probably that
This happens.
I can do anything now. Overnight, like I'm okay. And he says, not today. He was like that, very moody.
So he just had no sensitivity to your situation.
No sensitivity at all. No empathy at all.
Can I play devil's advocate and be his lawyer for a second?
Yeah, sure.
This happened to me once at a Bombay Gym bar night. You see, sometimes you see a lady and they may be carrying a little weight and you get scared to say you're pregnant because that might be the wrong thing to say if they're just carrying a little weight. Because I met a friend after 10 years and I said, wow, Mona, you're pregnant. I'm so happy. And she said, no, I'm fat. And I said, okay, and that's it. There's no comeback. You can never speak to that person again. So maybe initially he just didn't know.
So, no, but pregnancy is not the only thing. You don't keep a woman waiting for 2 hours and not offer them a seat or not offer them water.
Yeah, but in those days, they didn't have enough budget for chairs and all that. We have to look at everything, Indu. I have to protect my people.
I'm not going to.
So, he wasn't one of your favorites, clearly.
No, he was not a favorite.
And you didn't name your son Rajesh, did you?
No.
All right. What is your son's name?
Do. My son's name is Leo.
Leo? That's sweet.
Now, don't ask me why.
Because you like football. Or because he's born in August, like me. There you go. Boom, boom. I'm your son. Indu, hold me. It's a Hindi film. And Manmohan Desai presents Indu and Leo. Oh, it's a bilingual, is it? Very big in Goa at the moment, this film. Running to packed houses. All right. Any other stories that you want to push in? Because we've got another segment we have to rush into.
No, let's rush into the next segment. I'll tell you lots of stories.
Give us an overview about the modern Bollywood context. Now we have the new young guys, these Anurag Kashyap-like filmmakers. Do you feel it's all going in a different direction now?
Yeah, in fact, we're going in a, I think, far more sensible direction. Because now, now that you have multiplexes that can actually show films that don't necessarily have to be those big budget ones because they don't... See, it works backwards. When you're making a film, you have to figure out who your audience is. Now, if your audience is all India, then you're going to collect a lot of money. Then you can spend a lot of money. But if you're making what I call a niche film, which is going to be seen by, let us say, the more discerning lot of people.
11 people in India, yes.
Multiply that by 1 million.
Yes.
So then you're going to earn only a limited amount, so you should spend a limited amount. Right. And then you can show it in a multiplex.
And the great thing about multiplex is what, Indu? I'll give you time to answer.
Popcorn.
No.
Then?
Popcorn Farooq, that's his name. No, the great thing for me is that when you sit in a multiplex, there's nobody else there. I love that.
I love
that. It's almost like you're at home. Yeah, there were 6 people. You can all start hanging out like a family after some time. It's always 6 people, never more. And I've seen lots of films in multiplexes. Other people pay for it, of course.
So yes, there is definitely a new sort of filmmaking. Anurag Kashyap, let's not talk about Bombay Velvet because that's one of those low points.
He began well, and as usual, they all get corrupted. Ram Gopal Verma, Anurag Kashyap.
Yes, every single one of them.
All right. Okay, listen, we have to move into the next section, but I'm going to ask you 3 hard questions.
Tell me.
Best actor that you've seen?
As an actor?
Yeah, as an actor, performer, no, not personality.
Sanjeev Kumar.
Number 1?
Yes.
Above all these modern day guys as well?
Yes,
okay.
Absolutely.
Best actress, if there is such a thing, without being sexist?
Well...
You're taking too long. There isn't such a thing. Sanjeev Kumar again. He wins both rounds. Hands down and no pun intended there. Wow. Okay. Best character actor? Not in a lead role?
Not in a lead role.
How would you rate Naseer, Anupam Kher, Paresh Rawal, Baman?
I would say Paresh Rawal.
Paresh Rawal?
Paresh Rawal.
Member of Parliament?
Absolutely.
You want favours in Gujarat? Amazing.
Yes.
I hate this about journalists. Who was your best journalist colleague? Who do you think is the one person who really was bang on, other than yourself? I mean, obviously you can't talk about yourself. Who's the one person that you think was bang on in the business when it comes to films without fear or favour?
Only in films, or can I just include everybody?
But everybody else who's interested, with due respect.
Oh, that's also.
Or you can give us both so you feel happy, then I cut it out in the edit. Because I'm mean.
I would say Khalid Mohammed. He did some fantastic stories.
Early works of Khalid Mohammed.
Early works of
no
Khalid
fear
Mohammed.
or favour.
Yeah.
Just cinematic sort of expression. Looking at it.
He sort of understood cinema.
He did.
He did.
All right. Okay, Indu, I think that's enough. I don't want to bore you with more details about your life and going back. Because when one looks back at one's life, one always feels disappointed.
No, I don't. I had a great time. I enjoyed myself, yeah.
But you had dengue last year. How do you get through that?
Well, it was as bad as that Rajesh Khanna incident.
See, I mentioned dengue because I want to talk about Chavi, who's not here, and she's sick, and I can't say that she's got typhoid. So I have to be very careful what I say on the air. All right? Okay. Thank you so much, Indu. I hope you come back and talk to us more about Bollywood. We love finding out gossipy stories. Next time, more sex, please. Meaning from Bollywood.
From Bollywood.
It's not that kind of show yet.
Okay.
When we get a sponsor, we'll include everything. Okay. Clothes are optional, always on our shows, as far as we're concerned.
So thanks. Yeah, it was great meeting you.
Yes, Indu. Any last words of advice to young aspirants who want to make the next great Bollywood film?
Make a good film.
Oh God, that's impossible. Why do you say things that can't happen? I think we'll take a quick break and then we'll come back.
Cyrus says, stop picking your nose, listen to this ad.
This show is brought to you by iVape.in, and I spoke to Amit Jain, the founder. So you've come up for the layman with this iVape.in, of course, products. And what is the success rate?
In India, this is an early start. I think we are not even started. And we are the only brand who's coming up with this approach. We are making the liquids in India with materials imported from US. And our hardware comes from China. And we make sure that everything is well tested.
Visit iVape.in to use the code Cyrus Says to get 15% off on your purchase. iVape.in.
And that's what Cyrus says.
And we're very excited to have on Cyrus Says a fresh new face who's supposed to put on her Walkman phone, headphone, pilot control station things on the ears. And introduce yourself, young lady. Your name is?
Akanksha.
Akanksha, which is also an NGO which does lots of excellent work for young children.
Yes.
Some of whom I have actually met. And they've told me, Uncle, please leave. We are playing cricket. You know, things like that. And in fact, it's right next to us here somewhere. In Mahalakshmi, just a few feet down is Akanksha, which is your NGO. Akanksha, tell us about yourself. We have a very interesting story, which is that you come all the way from Dhanu.
Yes, I travel every day from Dhanu. I am working in a pharmaceutical company.
Right.
Yeah, I'm an indentor. We manufacture drugs.
You are a druggie.
I'm not a druggie.
But you give drugs to people like me.
Yeah.
All right. Can you give me anything for hair fall?
They are the curing drugs. Yeah.
Yeah. Can you give me anything for hair fall?
We are basically treating the allopathic thing. So it's curing hypertension.
Hypertension I don't have.
Oncology things. Yeah.
Oncology I can't even pronounce. Indu, is there anything you want to ask? She's a pharmacist.
This drug thing is quite fascinating.
Lovely. Get us a discount if nothing else.
Absolutely.
What's your list?
By the way, do you know the place that I was born, Jamaica?
You were born in Jamaica?
I was born in Jamaica.
What are you doing in Jamaica? I love the West Indies.
My parents were there. I got born.
You got born, but why do you come back, man?
So
you speak Pato, man.
I don't know.
Where's your Jamaican drawl, man?
But the thing is that they have legalized marijuana.
Not just in Jamaica, there are many countries now.
Yes, but I'm very proud of my country.
I'm also proud. So you have a Jamaican passport?
No, I don't.
But why don't you?
I don't know.
Why did you do a Jamaican farewell when you come back here? How sad. I love the West Indies. Those are my people, man. I love my people.
Too.
Most easygoing people in the world, man.
Have money, have fun. Money done, fun done.
Yeah,
That's
really.
a lovely
What happened?
policy.
I'm so sorry, Akanksha, we're ignoring you because we like Jamaica. You should never mention Jamaica. Akanksha, never mention the West Indies. This is what happens. So you're
she mentioned drugs.
She did. Oh, God, look at the correlation you're doing. Yes. Racism from the far right, the far east. Let's back to Akanksha. Akanksha, so you're working here. But I want to talk about this commute because I have trouble, and lots of people in Mumbai have this whole problem, north to south, south to north. Huge thing. 1.5 hours is par for the course. How long do you take, Dhanu to Mumbai?
I live away from Dhanu. Again, 18 kilometers away from Dhanu.
In the other direction from Mumbai?
Yeah, okay. Exactly. And then I come up on my bike to Dhanu.
You ride a bike?
Yeah.
Like a motorbike or a cycle?
A motorbike.
Wow.
Yeah.
She's a biker.
I drive 18 to 20 kilometers every day.
And where do you just leave the bike and no Indian steals it?
No.
Are you sure you're in
security
India?
is quite a good thing over here, at least.
So you park the bike and you get into what public transport?
Yeah, I come to Dhanu and then I catch flying and then I come up to Mumbai, traveling 2 hours.
So total is 2 hours from the
No, it's complete 4 hours journey.
Acha, 4 hours in the day go. But so 2 hours plus each way, going and coming.
Exactly.
Indu, what would you like to say? 4 hours, and we complain about our 1 hour 11 minutes stuck in traffic.
I completely agree. I mean, I take my hat off to her for being able to do that.
But if you were in Jamaica, you'd have had a hat. Now you don't live in Jamaica.
Out of Bandra, I grumble.
You're telling me if I have to leave Malba Hill, I cry. I want the cops to shut the red lights and not let us move. But don't you feel? Be honest, yeah, Akanksha, because I can't understand how you don't feel stress. You don't feel stressed when you wake up in the morning and think, oh God, 2 ghanta jayega isme. I mean, immediately.
But then that is the life we have. I mean, the time which we spend.
I have an uncle. He has a farm.
The time which we spend over there for 2 hours, the group we have, the friends we have, there are people
on the commute.
belonging from
Someone
every
should make a
different
movie
field.
on this.
Yes, you can say Church get written.
Yeah, this is nice.
Then there are people traveling from Surat. Yeah, they come up every day from Surat to Mumbai.
So you have a subculture of travel buddies, which is part of your life.
Exactly.
And you sort of, that's very interesting. Please write your book and I'm going to get finance for it. Amit has lots of money. If he doesn't
I do write.
Sell an orchard. You do write?
Yeah, I'm a bloggist.
That's not writing. That's 3 words and a signal. Come on.
Yeah, I just try.
Okay, I'm just kidding. Well, that's lovely. Great to know you and very interesting. But in the future, I don't want to ask a woman her age, but I'm thinking as you grow a little older, do you see yourself still doing this?
No, I'll start with my own. This is my learning stage. So.
And then you'll move to Mumbai properly.
Yeah.
And live next to Indra and Bandra. And then you'll start cursing and abusing like all us Mumbaikars, right?
Yeah. One should always aim high.
Aim high and it'll end
Yeah.
low, just like our politicians. They start well and then they just deflate. It's going to happen. The city will kill you. It'll destroy you. It'll take away your soul. You'll sit there abusing and spewing venom, cursing the citizens around you, slapping people when they pass you. When a bike comes to the one-way close to you, you'll elbow him and kill him. These things are going to happen. You're going to abuse the machinery, the bureaucrats, the police, the BMC. You're going to abuse the rich, the poor, the middle class, the people with jobs, without jobs, the disease, the lack of infrastructure. Everything is going to get to you. The politics. And
But
above
then
all, the social conditions, which are not right because of the disparity in income, allows two people to live, one with a
God,
Mercedes
you're so
and one under
negative,
it.
Cyrus. What is wrong?
I'm just telling her to stay in Dhanu. It's lovely.
But yeah, Dhanu is a lovely place. It has got a huge beaches, clean beaches.
Yeah.
People
And
from
when you say
Mumbai,
beaches,
they come
you
up.
don't mean
yeah.
like son of beaches, which is different at all from beaches.
Yeah, people from Mumbai, they come up to the
And
in the
behave like son of
weekends.
beaches. Okay, I get it. Okay, good power to you, Akanksha. All for the people who have that. It's almost like Zen philosophy. I know a couple of people in America who do that drive 2 hours each way, but it's a far, they listen to their music, their podcast, they listen to our podcast perhaps, and it's a therapeutic. But this is wonderful.
No, but what is really nice about what she's saying is that she has this group of friends.
Mm-hmm.
So the same group of friends she meets when she's traveling, when she's going back to. So I think that's a great thing here, that you build a whole new community that you're friends.
Indu, you lose 4 hours of your life. Think about it.
I
agree. Okay, so social factor, fair enough. This is your club in a sense.
Yeah.
Your evening club or evening walk, park, whatever. But 4 hours of your life every day, 5 to 6 days a week, just gone in traveling.
Yes, I agree with that part.
That's a lot. Do you know there are only 18 hours in the day? Because 6 hours are in the toilet. I mean, just think about it. And if you're in Mumbai, that's a little more because of the Belpuri now. Not safe. Not safe. All right. Thank you so much, Akanksha. We'll see you soon after 4 hours once you're done with your commute. And hopefully we'll get to know more about people from Dhanu, because this podcast is now sponsored officially by the state of Dhanu, which is a territory in a sense. And we meet India's most fiery, powerful performer since Nadia, fearless Nadia, right? Yeah. Because this is a woman who has no fear and travels over 4 hours a day just to reach apparently a pharmacy. Let's find out more by pretending not to know. Akanksha. But I'm absolutely gobsmacked by this lady's driven sort of personality that allows her to get 4.5 hours of commute without any sort of. She's not even bothered. She seems happy.
She seems happy, exactly.
Would you like to give her a Filmfare award?
Yeah, maybe because I'm an optimist.
Yeah, you're an optimist. Or if you get into the glasses business, you could be an optician.
Yeah, and one more thing, the space thing you told me about, we were
Right.
discussing. You should come up in flying and see how the people push each other.
Yeah? It's worse than a local? I thought it's much better than a local.
Yeah, you can say better than a local.
No, better as in it's worse.
But an intermediate thing,
So make up your mind. You sound like a politician now. Is it better or worse than a local travel? Are they sitting on your lap? Are they touching you all the time? Is that happening?
Yeah, it happens.
Okay, now she's a pretty girl, so obviously that will happen from time to time. I can't change this country in 5 days. I need more than 10 years. And then we'll bring back Achhe Din. Till then, it's AMA time.
Cyrus Says, ask me anything. If you want Cyrus to answer your questions on air, send an email to whatcyrussays@gmail.com. If you send us a link to a sound file on SoundCloud, we'll even play you asking the question in your own voice. And that's what Cyrus says.
And since this is the Bollywood episode, I'll put on my Bollywood voice and say Bollywood with a V. Bollywood, Bollywood, Bollywood. Because that's how you say Bollywood, at least when I was young. And now we have the AMA presented by our producer who was stuck in traffic and under severe pain because of the traffic lights being shut and the policemen disappearing due to a little rain, little pani. What does that happen? Ask me anything. Go ahead.
That's Bombay, right? In Bombay, basically, the second it rains, people lose their mind.
Yeah.
They forget how to drive.
They forget what John Lennon said. When the rain comes, they run and hide their head. They might as well be dead. When the rain comes.
All right. Okay, so AMA, we got a question from Dylan Fernandez by email.
Okay.
Cyrus, if you could time travel, would you like to visit the past or the future, and why?
Oh, the past for
And
sure.
he's a fan of the show. He said, love your show.
Wow, Dylan, I love you. I'm going to name my next child Dylan, which is on the way. Sorry, Aisha. That's my wife. Yeah, these things happen. What can I do? India, there's not much to do, in between weekends. Right. So I would like to go to the past. Like I said, I'm a big history buff. So personally speaking, I'd love to go. I would like to be one of the Mongol hordes. I would love to be in Alexander's army, perhaps right at the right flank, which he would always be at the right flank and ahead. I would love to go to Cyrus the Great's army.
Akbar.
Ekabatana.
You're a big Akbar fan,
I'm a
aren't you?
huge Akbar fan. There are lots of kings I admired. Yeah. But all of them were great in some way or the other. Yeah. Oh, I'd love to go. There's lots of places. I'd love to be one of the Beatles. Go, just hang around John and Paul.
Yeah,
I would have been Elvis's friend. The guy who, gives him the handkerchief and cleans his face.
The future.
Instead, I got to do it with Bappi Lahiri. Not quite the same thing, but
the future doesn't interest you? I mean, like, what's
yeah, the future's scary. All you do is lose organs. You can't control your hair. I mean, things fall off.
Oh, you're
feel
time
sick.
traveling, so you're going as yourself, right?
Yeah, but I'm still worried. No, they'll suddenly say the oxygen is different here, and you die immediately. So I'm a little more worried. I'd like the past. I'd love the
But you'd probably have those cars there, which you could then fly.
The ones
which
are programmed?
Yeah.
Okay. So can I hold that thought? I'm now you're getting to me. Maybe future is good too.
What about you, Indu? Which would you prefer, past or future?
No, future. Always future.
Always future.
Always
right?
future.
Yeah, same here, future.
Yeah.
Why would
it fascinates me. In fact, I'd love to be able
You're
to.
like the BJP looking ahead, both of you all. Achhe din aayenge. Go on.
No. You could go to the moon. Maybe you could go to Mars. You could go to the various
if you go to Navi
planets.
Mumbai, you don't have to go to the moon.
No, but I mean, if you think about just like where the world has gone in the last 20 years, right?
Yeah.
I mean, how much we
It's
have
changed.
Yeah, but look at it this way: in the '60s, it was a better world, except for the Vietnam War.
I don't know about that, man. I mean, like the '60s were a better world for you and me, right? Privileged, overprivileged.
But there's too much aggression. There's too much rage. Everywhere the people are angry and angst. There's too much. A little angst is good if it comes out creatively, but otherwise it's just after some time it's just too much. I think let's get rid of men. If all men died, the world would be good.
Yay!
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, okay, so let's get to the...
Sorry, Amit will have to kill you because you didn't say aye and we decided to
but I
go
think
on.
I'm dead. I mean, I think I am dead.
All right.
Okay, so the second question is from Karan Bhasin. As an ex-cathedralite, I would like to get your opinion on the other Bombay schools such as Campion, St. Mary's, etc. Let me throw Green Lawns in there as well.
Yeah, I'm a big South Bombay fan, so I like all the schools. But I put my kids in BIS, which I think is the best school of all. Although I do like Cathedral and all that, I think it's just too competitive. And if you don't have enough drivers, you fall out of place very quickly. But BIS is a more level sort of school. It's small and it's like a community, and they look after the kids well. And the freedom of expression is very strong. I feel some of the bigger schools, they all come out the same. In the same attitude, the same. They all talk the same, look the same. After some time, it's just like a factory. So the quality schools for me all over the world will be the ones with the less students and a little more teachers, and if the students are allowed to wear shorts, that's important, because long pants should just be banned in tropical countries. What's with that? Why were they killing the kids? Long pants. Who invented long pants? You know who invented long pants? The Persians under Cyrus of Anshan, known to history as Cyrus the Great. It's my ancestors' fault.
No, but I'd like to understand ties, right? Why do they make school kids wear ties? I mean,
ties, yeah.
What is the sense of that?
I wore a tie.
Yeah, girls. I've seen that. And then those ties which are fixed into the collar, which are even more strange.
I had to tie a tie. I had to learn how to
hated
tie a
that.
tie.
I couldn't tie a tie, and they used to pull it all the time.
Yeah, and it makes no sense, right? I mean, like in this climate, why would you wear a
Exactly.
tie?
I think we should be given towels. That's it. You wear a towel like a loincloth and you go to class and you can wipe yourself because it's always so hot, I mean, it just doesn't make sense to me.
And we didn't have air conditioning classes when I was a kid.
Air conditioning?
Yeah, but now they do. Now kids
They do, yeah.
Now they do.
But I mean, like back then, no, absolutely not.
And the new schools which charge 25 lakhs per month, and after which your son lives at home after 16, that's huge.
No, but when they're charging 25 lakhs a month, they should be right air conditioning at the very least.
You don't pass, but you get air conditioning. Yeah, that's a guarantee.
All right. So from the last question we have is from Meenal. You sounded very uncomfortable on the episode with May. Is that true?
Who's May? Oh, May? Ame?
Yeah,
of course. Oh, yeah, I did when she sat on my lap. I can tell you that. Yeah, that was a strange experience for me. It's never happened before. Even sarcastically, women don't do that. This is very strange. Meenal, you hit the nail on the head. You can see through me. Meenal, if you're single and under the age of 25 and under the influence of alcohol and high medication, call me.
Okay, cool. That's all we got.
All right, that's all we got. We'll leave you with a flourish.
You're listening to Cyrus Says.
All views and opinions expressed on this show are not necessarily the views and opinions of the IndusVox Media Network or any of our show advertisers or sponsors. No animals were harmed in the making of this podcast, obviously.
All right, if you've listened to this show called Cyrus Says and you want your money back, let me tell you, that can't be done right now. But we can make you feel better if you listen to Made in India. That's M-A-E-D, Made in India, with May. There's no D in May. Although, maybe one day.